Well, hello again, friends. It is 2 o'clock local UK time. Welcome to another Prefect 99 live stream. Pretty much where we left off. I've moved over to the other side of the airport. Frames aren't doing too bad, but something is hammering the GPU when I look over here towards the terminal. So maybe it's the terminal kits that do that in OpenGL. Certainly, looking over this side of the airport, it wasn't as bad. I certainly noticed it last night. So, interesting. Anyway, taxiing out, obviously that's going to be a right hand turn, and then up to the runway, and we're off to the other side, in Naples, in Sorrento, to Salerno. It's a 5,000 foot runway, so it's not spectacularly short, but it's short-ish. Just thought it was somewhere quiet. It's only got one instrument approach, which is a VOR to 0.5, and there's a 10 knot tailwind. We might be able to make it in with a 10 knot tailwind, and it would probably be the preferred direction because it's in over the sea. So we'll have to do the performance for that, see how we get on. Get to the hold if we absolutely need to. I've loaded the airplane up. Let's get the airplane fueled up. So it is quite a short trip. It's ground distance of 162 nautical miles, so it really isn't that far. And we need 1070, which is only a little bit more we should have on board. We land with 480, I don't think we did. I think we should have had 966, never mind. So 1070 is what we'll request. There we go. Shut off works. We'll let the airplane fuel up. Try not to forget it again this time. While we're doing that, let's get the GPU connected. System loading up. Got 05. Tools and everything's testing. Brakes on.
TOS system test. Okay.
Good. TCAS should test itself in a moment. We go. Finished fueling already.
TCAS test. Pass.
So we got 1068, a zero fuel weight of 5799. Gives us a ramp weight of 6867. We're probably not going to use that 67 kilos, so we'll have to do the 7 tons for departure. Our estimated en route fuel is 274. Down to 6.6, so 6.6 is a possibility. So we'll do the performance for that, and the fuel figures for that will be, got 7 tons, take away our zero fuel weight, 5799, 1201, 001 for 6.8, 861, 661, 461, and our reserve is 48, and our alternate is Roma. So 1001, drop down to 68. Cool. So 3 days. Let's get the passenger oxys auto cutout is off. 1800 psi. Let's do the enunciators first.
Fire. 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 Fire.
3 days. And stall.
Stall. Stall. Stall. Stall.
Done the panel scan. So there's nothing online, there's no ATC. I don't know where we'll go to next after this. Maybe a little hop over to Nice and then it'd be nice to get down to Gibraltar at some point. Might be able to do that in one hit tonight. Might have to do it tomorrow. Either way, pop nav lights on. What is essential this time of day? Our departure. Does it have an initial climb? No. No, it's not that. It's not that steep. Required. We're going to be going out over the sea. Need to be above 2, above 6, and then 110 for the TOPNO 6 Foxtrot. There's loads of different departures here. I'm not quite sure what the difference is. X250 the turn for this. DME's off. Off the localizer. Binary VOR 065 220 inbound to Bravo Papa Lima locator, which again we'll have on the nav, but we don't have an ADF. So I'm going to set initial climb flight level 110. So let's have a check of the weather. 340 at 11. It's 1250 Zulu weather. 340 at 11. 300 variable between that and 010. Greater than 10k visibility. A few clouds at 3000. Temperature of 20, dew point of 9, QNH 1017. So we're looking at effectively sea level. The airport elevation is 193 and a little bit of extra pressure. We could subtract 120 feet, takes us down to about 40. So happy to do the sea level pressure because it's 50 feet, it's absolutely negligible. Runway heading is 065, now 311. Is 25 going to be more appropriate? I wonder if the preferential runway is to head out over the sea. Variable between 0 and 10, that would go 60 degrees off, so it's still all crosswind. And 300, again, it's 50 degrees off. If it swings around, it's effectively across. So, having a look at the geography, I think we might as well head out over the coast. Assume that would be preferred. We've certainly got the distance to be able to do it. 065 is the runway heading. So let's pop our route in. So we're off to TOPNO. Papa 748 to POLIT. And then inbound, check the weather for our arrival. Maybe a visual or a circle, and I've certainly not even thought about doing those in this. Visual wouldn't be too bad. Flying a circuit would be fun, because I'm sure it'll be relatively sketchy at doing that, as we found out going into Northolt. So, the weather, it's a Leary, it's 260 at 10, 30 degrees off, half the crosswind, so it's a 5 knot tailwind. It's 1665, so we can probably accept that, to be fair. 5 knot tailwind, 5 knot crosswind, 16.6, no, sorry, beyond the threshold. There is 1500 meters. So we'll do the performance for that, and we'll do the performance, I think, for 6.8. Worst case, we're going to burn more than 68, but just in case we end up rounding it up. More than likely 6.6. I'll plan for 6.6. We'll do it for 6.8, 6.4, and I've got no option but to do takeoff at 7. So procedure wise, we can select our departure, which is TOPNO 6 Foxtrot. Why do they have so many for such a small airport? There you go, straight ahead, outbound, back in and along. It's nice and easy. Particularly matters. Popping those in, getting climb information. So we're going to select the arrival, which is the POLIT 2 Foxtrot. All runways, and there is absolutely no height information. Look at that. So let's have a look at that arrival. It's got absolutely nothing. But if we pop in the VO off, or runway 05, Gipor, it's 2200, long level segment for 4 miles and then a 3-degree VOR approach, continuous descent down to the missed approach point, 1.5 DME, 650. So let's load that up. Minimums are, as I said, 650. Let's. There you go. Oh, okay, 4,000. Ah, it's 4,000 because it's 11 DME. The initial fix, the initial approach fix at 4. So we can also put that in here. We'll see how we get on. I'll change that in flight to 3 degrees because 3 seems to work quite well. Maybe not that comes with the packs. But that's. So I start the mist is straight ahead and then back out over the sea. So 11045. For our departure, we need 64. So, happy days. If you're watching, please say hi. Somebody is. Thanks for joining. What we'll do is I'll transition that on. I'm going to leave the frame counter, unfortunately, so apologies if that does spoil the view. I'm going to pop standby 2000. All PFD information we want. That's it. So let's have a look at our performance. Some of the assumptions I've already made. Let's see if we can get away with flap 1 for this departure. We will go worst case. 1,000 feet. Like, no, we don't need to. Going double worst case. So for departure, we can't do that. We've got to go 7-2, don't we? We could interpolate for the 7, but I'm really not fast. It's ISO +5, 20 degrees, and 7.2, 936. Three. One, 4. Two, 8. And that's with a pressure altitude at 1,000. Just don't know what there. So takeoff minimums. The runway here is 3,000 meters long. If we taxied out to Delta, no, they wouldn't know that. So it's either the runway, which is Golf, or Foxtrot, which is 2444. So even with a 10 knot tailwind, absolutely nothing to worry about there. 10 knot tailwind, you could add 10, 20, 30%, and we'd still have tons of room to play with. So for arrival, let's click our way through all these. I'm going to do the speeds first. What I'm going to do is look at the landing distances unfactored, flap 3, and we are going to look for a 10 knot tailwind, and we're going to do 6.8. Are we going to do 6.8? Yeah, just in case we end up that way. So 6.8 is the worst case. With a 10 knot tailwind, 873, and we've got 1655. So even with, oh no, it's 1500. 1500 times 0.6 gives us 900. So even at our highest with a 10 knot tailwind, oh, I told a lie, didn't I? The airport elevation is 119, so it's probably actually going to be sea level, but even if we took it at 906, it would be touch and go with the 60% with a 10 knot tailwind. And you can see, look at the difference that makes. Tailwind, it's a vast difference, something odd meters. And I'd be happy to accept that with the 60%, knowing that we're probably actually going to be more like 6.6. So worst case we think is going to be 906 meters, is well within the 60%. And don't forget, we've probably got a 5 knot tailwind rather than 10 knot tailwind. You can't really interpolate between the two. It's probably a valid technique, but I don't think it'll work because it's v squared that determines the distance. Anyway, so if I am going to plan for 6.6 and adjust the speeds if we need to. That's flap 3 as well, so we could take flap 4, eke out a little bit more. Stab off, nice protection on or off. So the speeds are going to be 4, 6, 8, 1, 4, 1, 2, 5, 0, 1, 1, 2, 0. So we're going to pick those right in the middle. Do it now. Think about it. 1, 1, 2. Especially with a crosswind, a little bit of extra inertia will help. 2, 3. BRF 109. Departure, we're looking at 103. 114. 28. There we go. Easy peasy. you've got a bit of a flow in your mind. So 1017 on both. Eurocontrol West is on mine, but nobody else. Let's have a look around. No traffic here. There's that speedbird going. It's off to Heathrow to Athens, A321. So, that's us. We're going to have VOR, so GPS with vertical guidance for a CDFA down to 650. It's pretty much cav OK. 260 at 10, scattered at 5,000, 25 degrees the other side of Italy. 9 degrees dew point QLH 1015, so really not an issue. Our cruise is 290, so I'm actually going to set to 0. Relatively high, and I'm going to set 160. It's a takeoff flap reminder for our flap 1 departure. Good, we've finished fueling. Let's get the belts on. Start thinking about getting the aeroplane ready to go. Pre-flight tests I've done. Bottles in. Now we've got more than 1800. Packs auto. With some volts on the GPU. We've got 28. Half of the batteries. Lead panel. Auto. On all fuel panel. Auto. Cross feeds off. Hydraulic pumps can come on. Pusher cutout is out. Ice protection is not required. ADS off. Correction, ADS auto. Pressurization, landing field elevation at 129, that's good enough. Current out 50. And I'm going to set ECS to both. Engine fire off, the bottles off. Both of those are out. Engine start stop, both set stop. Ignitions auto. Flaps up. Cross levers idle. Speed brakes up. Brakes set. Let's get the door shut. AC's on. There's nobody online, so I'm not going to bother calling up. So we were due out at 13:30. We're going to be early. It's 13:20 something. We've got 1068 on board. And so we would signal to the ground crew clear to start, having asked ATC. So I'll pop the transponder on and we will start engine number 2. Pressure caution's gone out and the engine has stabilised. So we're on our own power. We can disconnect the GPU, signal to the ground crew to disconnect. Wait for them to come back and tell us that they have disconnected. Start engine number 1. There's engine 1 coming back stable. Off-start GPU is disconnected. Being used. Back emergency is out. Enunciator would be on if it wasn't. And we've got credit. 23.5 volts, stall protection is tested, takeoff data is done. Trims, as you can see, all certainly look neutral. Speed brake can't check, ice protection is not required. Controls, let's do those before we go anywhere. Full forward, full aft, left, right, full left, full right rudder. Flap 1 travelling. 1 we have. There you go. Everything's secure. You're therefore good to go. Lights on for taxi. We will be out at 4:13. 27 with 106.2. Hurry traffic, Ascot 1905, departing stand 402, taxiing runway 07, holding Foxtrot via Papa Tango. Brake off, airplane rolls, brakes work, airplane rolls some more. A little bit differential thrust to help us out. We would have checked with the ground crew to make sure we were good for the see-off. Back uphill now, so more of a struggle to keep the aeroplane moving. It's clear left, clear right. Check the brakes. Please put some effort into those markings. So left, immediately left, and then left again. So we're going to depart Foxtrot. Ample runway available from Foxtrot 24. As it looks like we couldn't go from Delta.
Takeoff. Okay.
Takeoff config checked. No cautions. Signs will pop off once we get a bit further down. Good amps off. Noise protection not required. Must reserve. All green. Advise the packs will be departing in a couple of minutes. External license required and transponder on to out. And the reminder, toga 5 minutes maximum. As soon as we get to about 500 feet, we'll reduce power back to climb thrust. So, all the way down, Foxtrot's on the right. Our departure is 065 outbound to 7 DME, which we have left turn, direct Palise, Papa Lima, and direct TOPNO. So we're on the 6 Foxtrot, we need 300 feet per nautical mile, 5% climb gradient, which is 800 feet a minute, 150 knots, 1,083 feet at 200 knots ground speed. We should easily be able to make that. To max 250 in the turn, we're not going to do more than 225. Since it's a distance outbound, we might as well accelerate as quick as we can. Foxtrot's coming up. So, packs advised, transponder and lights done. BRI traffic, Ascot 1905. Lining up and taking off runway 07, TOPNO 6 Foxtrot departure. So it doesn't appear to be any traffic around. We'll be taking off with 10 something. 1330 something.
Approaching 07.
Don't think it is a display threshold here, is it? No, shouldn't be. So this needs a bit of an update.
On runway 07.
Yes, let's come to a stop. It's going to be 33. Got 1040 kilos on board. Just going to put power on, stabilize. Power, toga. Off we go. V1. To the flight director, positive rate, gear up. Need a little bit more than that. So yaw dampers on, gear up, thrust levers, max climb, meters checked, standard, pressurization, airplane's pressurizing, and we will start to accelerate. This protection is not required. Let's go. Of 2, set 225, so we get there. Maintain that for the climb. I think we can start the turn early, although on a beautiful day like today it probably doesn't matter. Do that, we're well above 2. Let's go the long way round. So 245 would be parallel. maintaining the heading. No traffic about, my hang about. Passing 10, maintain 225, lights off. Backs out. So, why is that indicating incorrectly? So, we should be direct. Have confused the GPS. Okay. Still actually in heading mode. Anyway, cabin is pressurizing nicely still. Often on routes. VNAV really doesn't have a clue for departure, does it? TOPNO is 27 miles away. So Rome ground is online, nobody else. Only one that's going into Erie, and it's listed as an Air Force base, but I don't think it is. It might be joint use. Salerno, where it used to have been, or still has some taxiway Charlie reserved to military aircraft. ACB, what does ACB mean? Oh, there's a flying club. So maybe there still is some military use of the airfield. as you can see, this thing does climb like a little rocket, so we are approaching cruise of 290. I didn't print the waypoints, but let's have a look. The long range cruise. No real reason. Upper climb decimal 52. Okay, let's build. Put in decimal 6 in the climb. Almost a decimal 6 anyway. So you've got a bit of a headwind and a bit of a cross. Could be a 90 knot wind from this direction. So I think we're happy with the approach. It's going to be a VOR with a quartering tailwind. Even the aeroplane wants to run away there. So we'll run with 070, full dry cruise, see if we get there. So apart from that, a bit of oddness with the display. Not that bad a departure, I don't think. Should have been a bit further out and a bit further round, but that was never going to be an issue for us. Relatively light and slow in the turn. Look at that for some ortho though. Not really much of a hit on frames, even with the shadows. Redraw spoils the immersion a bit. There we are, overhead TOPNO. 23 seconds to top of descent. No, let's go 3 degrees. It's an extra couple of minutes. Let's be on that bit quick. About 3.5. Let's see if we can get away with 3.5. So, POLIT wise, so we've got that in, and then we can just activate the approach. Happy days. Waypoint called vegan. See, look at the drift there. 8 degrees drift. Quite a lot in a jet. Won't we slow down? Are we not meant to have CSC on? It is very slow to react. Some beans, shall we? Descent, which we did want to do 070, 270 all the way down. You see we're actually going quite a ways out to come back in. It's not that far a distance in this straight line. must be in Italy. So landing data set, windshield heats on, minimums are set. Let's double check the weather. Two 50 0. 10k fuel 5,000 still, so the cloud's breaking up a bit. 241015. A few nice mountains out the front, and of course we are going to the south of Naples. So out to our right will be mighty Vesuvius. Tell you what, there's some big old mountains through the spine of Italy on there. Vesuvius out there. That must be Naples. Or is that, no, that might be where we're going. Yeah, there's Naples, so there's Vesuvius. Little one out by itself. If you ever get a chance to go to Pompeii, it's brilliant. Go and do it, even if it's just for the day. Jump on an EasyJet flight. See top of the set coming up. So we can arm VNav. It appears on the PFD with a minute to go. We have planned a landing for 6.6, which means we need 8.61. As you can see, we're well below that. Probably not get down to 6.61. And if you are watching, as always, please say hi. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll try my best to answer any. Bearing in mind I did not know a lot about this aeroplane. CSC off, start bringing, gradually back. Ah, no, I didn't lower before arming VNav, did I? So let's go flight level change. And what are we going to go down to? It's a lot easier when you've got ATC. Set 10 initially. Change over to 270. See, it's even quite shallow for VNav, so I'll go power, let's try 35, 45. And we're still at flight level change, so let's shallow this out, shall we? Let's go 2000. Arm VNav. You can see the mist is a right hand turn away from that terrain. Back to intercept the VOR 227 outbound, back to the hold. Parallel entry to the left, a right hand hold. So 110425 is the VOR. It's going to set up in case we need it. We can set 047 inbound. back onto VNav, but good enough. Here we go. Sorrento VOR, pause, Pompeii, Tiano VOR, that's where we're inbound to. Day like today, you can see we could have been cleared direct, and then actually it is entirely safe to do a cloud break. Let's say there was cloud at 2,000 feet, you could quite happily just fly the VOR outbound, knowing that there's no traffic around here, descend over the sea, and you know you're definitely not going to hit anything. But we'll just follow the standard arrival, effectively a base join, isn't it? At about 20 miles to go, what's the DM in the 18 miles? So I didn't realise you could push the course to centre the VOR, point towards the nav aid, which is quite cool. Gives you the radial that you're on, rather than fiddling about trying to find it, which is quite cool. So speed is still pretty good, relatively stable, 50% or so in one. Even at 3.5 we seem to have some energy to play with, which is good. Cabin's still at 6.6 and the delta's coming in. So Jaipur is 18, or Jaipur, Jaipur, however you want to say it. It's 18 DME from the VOR, which is basically on the runway. So that's a long old straight in. And we're going to be at 4, which is probably a little bit low to be fair. So we'll try and do a continuous descent down to 2.2 at 7 DME for a 3-degree intercept. Just double check that we have got that. Okay, 2.2 at 7. You get 2.2 at the FAF, which you can't change. So we can keep the speed up as well. See a speed limit on the arrival. It's 165 for the mist. inbound to Sorrento in fairness, so should have that as a backup. 122. 112. 2. Where is the Sorrento VOR? Bring the throttles back to idle and see if we can't reduce this rate of descent. Oh, there we go. It's still coming back. Screaming around this turn. Also to go till 10, and we will continue down to 4. 015. There you go, look at those mountains. Healthy coast around there. Capri's out to the left. You're tracking straight towards Sorrento. Out here. So 10,000 feet now, keep the speed up. So we're going to be 4 here, we need to be down to 2.2 here. We should be able to go down and slow down. So let's see if we can't finesse that quite nicely. Salerno traffic, Ascot 1905, inbound via POLIT to Foxtrot, VOR runway 5, Salerno traffic. So we're going into Naples. And you'd expect to hear these people, but they don't call out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're the only one inbound anyway. Yes, we are. Doesn't mean anyone won't pop up on the ground though. We can keep screaming in at 240. So if you're at 5,000, well, they'd be a little bit higher than that. Should have had the landing lights on, my bad. Cabin out's coming down, and sadly, look, it's coming down quite steeply. The delta's gone to 0 rather than a nice steady 500 feet per minute. Odd. Well, you can manually intervent it, but I don't know if you can set a rate. Just set to auto. Part-time PC pilot, hi, I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. Thanks for joining. Oh, coming in nicely. I'm happy to let the speed bleed off a little bit. Didn't hear the altitude alert there. That turn seems to have been a bit keen. There we go, approach active. And you can see the speed coming back as we level off, like I say, having to let that start coming back. So we are going to go down to 2.2. Salerno traffic has got 1905. 17 DME inbound via while runway 5. Have path outset. We'll keep it going down. So I said I was going to reduce that down, didn't I? Because I don't want us to level off. We don't need to. It's 14 miles out. Straight line all the way in. Altitude alert to work that time. On F plus V we have. Oh, hang on. There is the glide path above us, which has just kicked into life. So let's intercept that. Which is what I was trying to do. Just managed to get myself a little confused. We are slightly off the runway heading. What are we? 047 inbound. 3 degrees off. Which you can just about see there. There we are levelling off. Shame, isn't it? My path, vertical guidance, armed. Coming back to 160, it will be 7 DME. So apart from that little dirty dive I did there, instead of moderating that descent, I think that was quite good. We will take flap 1 at 160 if we can. Let's go a little early. We're below 180 anyway. Just because we are going to have a little pitch down. And the missed approach is 4. There we go, 160, speed's going to bleed off. VREF is 114. Actually holding it quite well. 3 knot tailwind, a little bit of a crosswind. Going to be visual well before 650, well we already are, so not a lot to worry. You'd think they'd have an RNAV in for the other way. Take gear down early, just because we are not losing any of that speed. We'll take flap 3. So that gear down 3 creep. Flap is set. Dumper will come off. Speed brake is closed. Go around. Forward is set. Ice protection not required. Salerno traffic has got 1905. 4 DME. Final runway 05. There we go. Bringing that speed back to VREF.
Autopilot.
Approaching 05.
It's not me, it's just the airplane all over the place. Variable wind, you can see crosswind varies around and explain models a little bit of turbulence with that. Look at the FD off, let's continue. A little bit low.
400. 300. 200. 100.
3,000 feet remaining.
On the brakes. Managed to not make the exit with standard braking, so we'll roll down to the end. Where we're going to vacate anywhere, I guess. West apron, east apron, don't think it matters, let's do a left. Go along Bravo. Excellent landing, was it? Another greaser. Got to stop aiming for those because it does increase the float. Salerno traffic, Ascot 1905, vacated runway Bravo. Runway at Bravo. Strobes off. The transponder should be set to on, which it is. Dump any cabin pressure, which it can come off. Flaps are up, spoilers are up. Trims reset. Find anywhere up here to park. So what have we got? Parking. Things. Should we take that big one over there? Stand 40. Funny way of writing 40, but never mind. A bit stretched. Right, let me just stop. I'll park up and talk about World of Wine. I think it's a great airplane, to be honest. Actually, we'd look out the window and do that. So there we are on stand. It is 14:10, and we can shut the airplane down. PDQ. So we'll sort that out in a moment. It's 734 on the fuel, so we wouldn't have made 6.4 for landing. Good estimate from me. And of course, then we're going to dump the packs out, the door can be opened. So, what do I think about the Phenom? I think it's worth it, to be honest. Did I pay full price? I can't remember. I think it's about 45 bucks. Have a look and see what you think. It's a fun little aeroplane. It opens up a lot of possibilities. You have a relatively limited range. But look at it, it's a nice looking bit of kit. The features, the interior, the windows are a bit, certainly the capability is really good fun. I don't know if you saw me in and out of Shoreham, which is a relatively short runway. It really does give you some options. It's no good for virtual airline flying, so you have to do a bit of your own stuff. But it is a fun little aeroplane that opens up places like here where we would probably struggle to get a 7.3 in, even in VIP config with light fuel. And it's fun. It's a little bit of a handful to get used to. The Garmin is weird, but you know what? I quite like it. So if you've got the cash, I think it's worth it. Even if you need to save up, if it's the sort of flying that you might want to do into some of the smaller places around, then yeah, I definitely recommend it. So, welcome to Salerno Costa d'Amalfi Airport. First person to arrive there today. Well done me. Isn't that great? Brilliant. So that's on Volanta. So that's fine. Like I say, a nice sort of square and easy arrival. 42-minute block time. 323 fuel. So not that cheap in reality. But yeah, I think it's a good little bit of kit to add to your virtual hangar. Try not to grease it like I keep doing. Bad habits, I guess. A little bit low over the threshold. Quite a bit of a float. What did we say, 906? But it just goes to show the majority of the distance, especially if you're holding it off, is consumed in the air. Once you get on the ground, you'll be able to stop the aeroplane. On the set to line, kissing the ground. Did for land to pick up the landing rate. Said minus 16 feet a minute. Okay, whatever. They're all clearly different. Let's have a look at the replay, shall we? Yeah, it's pretty greasy. But look at the touchdown point. Oh, that's a long way down the runway. And I was straight on the brakes, admittedly just regular braking, so I wasn't busting a gut to stop. Guess there's a search and rescue base. There's the VOR over there. All fenced off, fair enough. That should be a taxiway as well. Maybe it is just helis out here. Anyway, that's us. Stand 40, I think it was. There we go. So yeah, I mean, we could have applied more brakes if we wanted to vacate here. But we had ample. So welcome to Salerno. Like I say, Nice maybe next, or Ibiza, somewhere like that. Just to get us somewhere on our way to Gibraltar, which appears to be having an event because Gibraltar's open and there's a huge amount of traffic heading that way. So I guess I missed a VATSIM event. So yeah, part-time PC pilot, thanks for joining, and I hope seeing it in use has, just have a look through some of the videos. I hope you'll get a bit of a review of it, just sort of me using it, but it's quite a capable bit of kit, especially when you fill it up. It's got quite a bit of range, but it's not fantastic. But if you don't want to do long flights, it's ideal. So have a look. Good luck. End the old replay. Get all the doors open and everything off. So not a lot to do to shut this down. Those are usually left in auto. But yeah, once you get the hang of it, it's a relatively easy airplane to operate. I think it'd be great fun to have one, especially single pilot. And it looks really good on the ramp, so if anyone's got a spare 8mm that they could send me, I'd appreciate it. Definitely find a good home for it. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Not sure if I'll fly, I probably will fly again later today. Not sure when, but look out for it. Have a good bank holiday if you do indeed have a bank holiday. Until next time, look after yourselves. See you again soon. Bye for now.